solar segment continues. Today we are joined by Matt from Res Solar. Matt, good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So first off, talk to us a little bit about what you do and then some of the technology behind it.
Sure. I'm the business development and salesperson for RES Solar. And we at RES Solar, we sell solar thermal, solar electric, solar pool heating, and solar radiant, and we combine that depending on the needs of the customer.
So what is the technology behind that? How does that work? Walk us through that process.
Sure. So if we're talking about solar thermal, what we're trying to do is eliminate or reduce the cost of the need for solar hot water in your home. So we add solar panels on the roof to reduce the hot water need that goes throughout the house. So if you're trying to do laundry or dishes or whatever, the solar can take care of about 75 to 80% of that, or sometimes 100%.
Now, as I understand, this technology has really come a long way over the last 5 to 10 years. How has it developed?
It has. Actually, it's been around since the 60s. In the 1980s, actually the 70s, Jimmy Carter put it on the White House. It's the only solar that's been on the White House. So it's been around a while. The technology is very stable. It lasts 30, 40 years. So it's been great. It's very efficient. It's about 75% efficient, converting sun into energy.
Now, what are some of the economic incentives behind this?
Sure, it gets the federal tax credit. Right now it's at 30% off the gross cost of the system. There's a $1,000 state incentive for the system. And then there are something called alternative energy credits, which you can get as part of the system as well. It's generally around $500 to $700.
So I'm curious, what's something that you want to explain to folks that you think people may not necessarily understand about this piece of technology?
Sure, it's really simple to install, and there's really nothing the homeowner needs to do. So once it's installed, it's hands-off. However, you can look at it online. It's live, and you can see the energy savings, over the life of the system.
So how does this get converted to energy and ultimately power parts of your home? Can you walk me through this real quick?
Sure. On solar thermal, what is happening is the sun is hitting the panel, and in the panel there's copper pipes with glycol. Glycol is like a organic antifreeze. It's non-toxic. So what happens in the glycol is that gets heated up in the summer around 150 to 200 degrees, and that goes down to the tank in the basement, which has a copper pipe. So what's happening is the cold water in the house at 45, 50 degrees gets heated up by the solar thermal in a heat exchange to the 120 you need for dishes and showers and everything else. So that just happens during the day. It takes about 4 or 5 hours, and it happens every day. It's really simple.
Now, are you finding that more folks are switching to this type of technology over conventional electricity?
I think it's a combination. Depends on the needs of the homeowner. So we have a lot of customers who opt for solar electricity. So if you have a high energy need for hot water, we'll add solar hot water. But it depends on the customer.
How do you believe that this would help the environment?
Oh, it's going to offset, gas and oil, and by 75, 80, sometimes 100%. It's going to be a great combination for us to go electric.
And what's the other piece of technology that you all work with?
We also work with solar electric. So if you have high energy needs, as we've all seen, the electric bills skyrocket over the last few months, we're on solar electric to take care of electricity in your house and possibly hot water as well.
What would you say is the big difference between both of those pieces of technology?
I think solar electric has a wider use, depending on what the homeowner needs. When you talk about solar hot water, it's really specific to heating water, or if you have radiant, you can take care of that. Or if you're doing pool heating, it's wonderful for pool heating. But solar electric has a more universal, able to reduce your energy costs.
Matt, is there a final piece of information that you really want folks to know as we move toward Earth Week and Earth Day that's coming up over the next several weeks?
Sure. I mean, try not to get overwhelmed by all the technology. Talk to your local solar provider and just talk to them about what you're trying to achieve, and they'll guide you in the right direction. There are a lot of great incentives. Don't look at it as expensive. You can get loans, you can get power purchase agreements. There are a lot of wonderful incentives to keep that cost down, but it's definitely a lot cheaper, and it's unbelievable for the environment.
Matt, talk to me a little bit about why you believe in this technology.
Sure, it's a proven technology that's been around for decades. It's not going anywhere. It's only getting better, and we see a lot of residents and a lot of commercial businesses really diving in to the whole technology.
Matt, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
And welcome back. We have switched places. Today we are over at the solar array here in Cohasset. And joining me today is Tanya Bodell, Chair of the Alternative Energy Committee. Good to see you again.
Great to see you too, Justin.
So talk to me a little bit about this solar array. This has been years and years and years in the making. This year is the 5-year anniversary of putting this solar array in. First off, talk to me how excited you are.
Oh, it's amazing. It's done better than we projected. We last year alone saved $77,000 because of this solar energy array. We in total have saved more than $350,000 for the town. So not only is this helping the environment by being green, it's also helping our town by being green.
Awesome. So walk me through the original process to get something like this put in here in Cohasset. What was that like?
Well, it takes a lot of patience, and as my husband knows, I don't have much, but we made it happen. We had a great team in Cohasset, a lot of experts, a lot of people who made it happen, including Palmer Capital, who's a local private equity firm, and they really just picked up the baton and ran with it. We started in 2011.
Wow.
Yeah, so 2011 was when we started. It actually started to produce electricity in 2018. So it was a 7-year process. There were ups and downs. The state subsidies went away, they came back. So that's why it takes a lot of fortitude, patience, and persistence to make something like this come to fruition.
And so what are some of the pros with this massive solar array behind us? What does this power throughout the town? I've got a lot of questions about that.
Yeah, so first of all, let me just say, this solar energy array is on the old landfill. So it's not taking up any space that wasn't already dedicated to something. That caused some of the delays because anytime you put something on a landfill, you need to have permission. But it's just a perfect use of this space. It powers around 50 homes a year, which is a good start, but not enough. For the town, it's around 10% of the town's total electricity usage, and we can do more. So every new roof that gets reshingled in town, we're looking at that as this is a potential place to put a solar energy array so the town can make more solar energy, help the planet, and save more money.
What does the future hold for this type of solar array?
So there's a lot of money coming in to help support. The Inflation Reduction Act at the federal government has a significant amount of money to help subsidize the solar energy. The state continues to support solar energy in Massachusetts, their goal of going net zero by 2050. And so there's a lot more opportunity to build more solar, not just on town land, not just on town roofs, but also individuals at home can look into whether or not their roofs can support solar so they too can get savings.
And really quickly, I know that you're chair of the AEC. Talk to me a little bit about what the AEC does, what their involvement was with this project.
Yeah, so the Alternative Energy Committee is tasked with helping bring these types of projects to fruition. We're also tasked now as part of our reconstituted committee to help people in town understand more on what they can do to be more energy efficient, help with demand response, pursue clean energy alternatives, electric vehicles. The Alternative Energy Committee has a wide range of things that we focus on.
And this is one of your big projects that you all have been working on for the last several years.
Well, it's been in operation since 2018, so that's why we're almost celebrating our 5 years. But this is just one example of the types of projects that we're trying to bring to the town.
Wonderful. And how long does something like this last?
So the contract is a 20-year contract. So we have 15 more years on this contract to get the savings that we're getting. And generally, solar developers like to have a 20-year contract, and the equipment can last beyond that. So in our contract, we have the option to buy at the end of the period if we want, but we don't have to worry about that for another 15 years.
And is there anything else that folks should know before we wrap up this interview today?
I think now is the time. It's a great opportunity to take advantage of both state and federal funding, to take advantage of technological changes that are happening, to really think about how can I do better for the environment, how can I decrease my carbon footprint, and how can I just be clean and green. And solar energy is a great way to do that, and we encourage everybody in town to think about it, not just for the town, but for themselves.
Tanya Bodell, Chair of the Alternative Energy Committee, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
your time
Justin.
today. And thank you all for joining us on another special edition of Cohasset Common. We will see you around town. Have a great day.